There's been one man who broke this story and has been at the forefront of this story, Paul Wagner from WTTG.
Can I talk to you about what happened on Saturday? You want to give me your version of events? Why are you covering your face? I'm giving you the opportunity to say something.
That's the folks at Fox 5 going after the lieutenant in this particular case, who apparently did not think it important to send help to this dying man. Paul Wagner's on the phone right now from WTTG. How are you, Paul?
Good morning, Brian.
Well, congratulations, first of all, to spotting this story and to running with this story. And then, we picked up on it, and then finally everybody else in the world has picked up on this story. What is the very latest regarding this lieutenant? You read some reports that say she was relieved of command. Others say she was put on administrative leave. What really happened here?
Well, I think you're just getting into semantics. Yes, she's been relieved of command, and she's been placed on a desk job. And she's no longer in command of Truck 15 over there on Rhode Island Avenue. There's another firefighter identified in a statement that we received yesterday, G. Murphy, who is a firefighter we had not previously heard about. And then there is the rookie at the center of this probe as well. He has only been detailed to another firehouse. He has not been placed on desk duty. So right now you have two firefighters placed on desk duty, this G. Murphy and Colleen Davis, the lieutenant that is at the center of this whole thing.
Can I just say, if this were a one-off, if this would happen in isolation, I think a lot of people say, well, that's tragic. We need to get to the bottom of that. Let's find out what happened, what went wrong. But this seems to be something that we report on, something like this about once a month.
Well, I've been following the fire department very, very closely for a year now, and been reporting a number of missteps and problems with the fire department, with its equipment, with its responses. One story I told just about a week and a half ago got lost somehow. It was a similar story. It was a man named Jose Perez who collapsed on a sidewalk up on 16th Street. It was January 10th. I found out about it about a week after it happened, and the police, the fire department was called. This man was taken back to his apartment, and he later died. Oh. And that has not been widely reported, although I noticed that it was mentioned in the Washington Post this morning. So these stories just continue to come, and we continue to report on them, but the mayor continues to back the fire chief.
Well, and that's where I want to go with this, Paul Wagner. I'm looking at your latest report, and from the moment this story was first reported, Fire Chief Ellerby has refused to comment on this. For how long can this man continue to dodge the press and not answer for what is clearly a failing fire department?
Well, he doesn't put himself out for interviews. He and I, as you might imagine, don't get along very well. There was a story that I did, I guess it was last summer. I remember it was warm, where I had to chase him down the street. And I had just happened by the headquarters, and I saw him outside, and I saw he was going into Ben's Chili Bowl, and I had to stake him out. And then when he came out, the only way to talk to him was to walk along the street with him, with my cameraman backing up the entire way.
While he's munching up on a half smoke. But he's a public servant. We pay his salary. It's incumbent on him to talk to the media. I mean, are any of your colleagues alongside with you there? I mean, I don't want you to call out other reporters in town, but this is insane.
The chief doesn't put himself out there. Basically, what's been happening lately is if there's any controversial stories, they put Paul Quander out there, the deputy mayor for public safety, and he answers the questions. So the only time you can get the fire chief is if he's appearing at the city council or you catch him out in public somewhere. He does not make himself available for interviews.
All right. So ultimately, what do you think went wrong in this particular case?
Boy, it's hard to tell.
There's a report out there this morning that the first guy, the rookie that was the first contacted by people on the street, went back and told the lieutenant a man has slipped and fallen. Did he just not understand what was going on?
Well, that's in her statement. Okay, this is a statement that we obtained yesterday through sources, and this is her story, and. It doesn't seem to connect with what we do know, which is there were a number of people that ran across the street. According to Marie Mills, the daughter of Cecil Mills, She says as many as 3 people ran across to tell that probationary officer, the rookie, who she says was standing in the bay doors, that her father was having a heart attack. He was semi-conscious. She said he had shallow breaths. It wasn't a situation where he had slipped and fallen. And she even yelled across the street at him, "Are you going to help my father?" So
wow.
It's hard to believe that she would have thought that this was a man who had slipped and fallen. So she claims that someone came to her and told her that. One of the firefighters did. She said, "Then get me an address." And that's another part of the statement that is hard to understand. It's right across the street.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, if that was a fire, if you saw smoke coming from a store across the street, are you still going to stand there? It's just we just keep digging on it, and it just gets stranger.
Paul Wagner, Fox 5 reporter, is our guest. There's one other aspect of this story that I want to ask you about really quickly, and that is when they finally did call 911, of course, the dispatchers sent them to Northwest instead of Northeast. You broke this news to the daughter on air. Listen to this.
Have you been told that the original dispatch that did go out went to the wrong quadrant of the city?
No.
They sent it to Northwest instead of Northeast.
That's why my daddy laid on that ground.
It's, I mean, when
heartbreaking.
it is unbelievable. And Paul, I wonder. I mean, that was Marie Mills, of course, the daughter. They're grieving for her father on air with you. Are you still in contact with Marie Mills? Is she still working with you to try to get to the bottom of this? Have you built a relationship
I have
here?
talked with her every day except yesterday. I re-interviewed her on Wednesday to get a reaction to the mayor's apology. She's just beside herself. The family's beside themselves. What bothers them so much is that their father worked for the D.C. government for 47 years. Their grandfather was the founder of the Canaan Baptist Church. They have deep roots in the District of Columbia, and they just can't understand how something like this could have happened.
All right, listen, let me just say, we think there's nothing more important than when you call 911 that they actually come, and we've seen so many problems. Listen, Paul, stay in touch. When you have new developments, I hope you'll come back.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Paul Wagner. Andre in D.C. is a firefighter. He wants to respond here, and we want to give him a chance. In the District of Columbia, Andre tells us that he's a firefighter, and we wanted you to have your time here, Andre. You're on WMAL.
Good morning, Andre.
Hey, how y'all doing? Now, I'm a long-time listener. Love you guys. Been listening since Grandy and Andy. It's good thing talking to you guys. I want to defend my department.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And by the way, I want you to know we are not attacking firefighters here. We do have a problem with your fire chief, and we think that he's got a problem with managing your department. But go ahead.
You're not the only one that got a problem with him. You know, every chief has his agenda, but I just want to say, I don't know what the lieutenant was thinking in this case. Normally what we would do is we get it all the time in my firehouse. Somebody will walk up and say, hey, something happened across the street. And we'll say, hey, Lieutenant, we got a call across the street. Lieutenant calls communication. We go over there, check it out. Whether it's something or nothing, we always go over there and check it out.
In other words, you don't wait to be dispatched. You go, and then you notify dispatch that you've gone.
Right. You don't wait to be dispatched. You got a call, period. I mean, but in defense of the probationer, when I was on probation, I just didn't know. I didn't know how that went down. So he talked to the lieutenant like he should have. But me, I've been on for a few years now. I would have just said, Lou, we got a call. But as a probationer, you just don't know. You green. You don't know. So he talked to the lieutenant. I do not know what she was thinking. If she'd have known it was a 77-year-old guy that had a syncopal episode, then maybe she would have acted differently. But I worked with her a couple times, And,
well, let me ask you this.
Certain type of person.
Yeah. So, you say you've worked with her before? What is your assessment of her as a leader, as a commander?
Well, I thought she was overly strict. Actually, I got on my phone a couple times in a piece. Like my wife called me because I have kids, so I always answer my phone unless I'm with a patient. And She told me to get off my phone, and it was just little things. And I'm like, man, she's a little bit.
Well, I mean, if she is very by the book, maybe that feeds into this narrative.
So I was a little surprised about this thing happening with her, but
Okay, so you sit
with us being in the news a lot.
You sit around with the other firefighters, and they talk about this case. No doubt. What is the general consensus?
Exactly what I said. Like, what the heck was she thinking?
What was she thinking? Yeah.
All right.
It's like I can't believe it. Like it's baffling.
But, you know, Andre, when we hear this story, and when we had all the stories of the ambulances breaking down, your fleet not being prepared, the fire chief not properly making sure that your budget is set up to get your fleet up to snuff, we have 911 dispatch problems. I mean, just in the last 10 months, the number of stories that we have seen, would you agree that there is possibly a systemic problem in the D.C. Fire Department, and it starts with the chief?
Yeah, I mean, you know. Yeah, just like here in America, you know, we have a problem. It starts at the top, you know. We complain, but we can't say too much without being, you know, singled out sometimes. But it is what it is, you know.
So there are repercussions. If you speak out, there are repercussions right now?
Well, it seems like that, but I don't know. The chief got to do everything by the book just like everybody else, you know, so he can't just go out punishing people for speaking up.
All right.
Well,
Andre,
we got to deal with it, you know.
We appreciate you calling, and let me just say that if you get any blowback about coming on this program and talking about this issue, you call us back and let us know, all right? We'll take care of that.
Okay. Hey, and one more thing, guys. We save lives every day.
Yes,
I
you
just
do.
wish that would make the news.
All right, you've just made the news with it. Thanks a lot, Andre. We